There's a hospital just outside Bristol. Most locals don't like to talk about it. St. Augustine's. On the surface, it looks like any other NHS hospital. Old bricks, cracked windows, flickering lights that never seem to stay fixed. But half the building has been shut down for over a decade. They say it's asbestos. Others say it's something much darker. And every so often, a story slips out about strange noises, figures in empty corridors, and shadows that move against the light. Our story begins with Nadia Patel, a final year medical student, eager to graduate and finally leave the sleepless nights behind. Her last assignment before graduation was a 12-hour night shift at St. Augustine's. Just one night. She thought she'd spend it taking notes, making rounds, maybe having a bit of coffee to keep herself awake. She had no idea. She would never forget this night. Nadia clocked in at 8 p.m. sharp. The corridors smelled of bleach, mixed with something damp. It reminded her of basements that never dried out. Her mentor, Dr. Ellis, a man with heavy eyes and a voice that always sounded tired, gave her a quick briefing. 1 patient in ICU, he said. 2 recovering from surgery. Nothing serious. It'll be a quiet night. Then, almost as an afterthought, he added, and Nadia, whatever you do, don't go near Ward C after midnight. Nadia frowned. Why not? Ellis paused. For a moment his eyes looked afraid. Just don't. The wing's been shut down since 2011. Pipes, mold, asbestos. Not safe. So if you hear anything from that direction, and you might, ignore it. Understand? She forced a laugh. You're kidding, right? But he didn't smile. He just left her with a clipboard and a warning she couldn't shake off. The first few hours were silent. Too silent. The kind of silence that makes you notice every tick of the clock, every hum of the fluorescent lights. At 11:45, Nadia sat in the break room, staring at her lukewarm cup of instant coffee. Her eyelids were heavy. The world felt slower, quieter. And then, at exactly 12:03, she heard it. A bell, a soft metallic chime. Not from the call system, not digital, old, mechanical. It came from the far end of the corridor, from Ward C. Her skin prickled. She told herself it had to be a leftover alarm, a forgotten machine. But the sound grew louder, steady, insistent. Her heart thudded as she grabbed her phone for light. The hallway lights flickered on, one by one, as she walked, until they suddenly stopped. The stretch ahead, the way toward C, was drowned in darkness. Still, the bell rang. A slow, deliberate ding, echoing off the walls. Nadia's breath trembled as she pushed open the door. Inside, it was freezing. Her breath curled in the air. The smell of a damp plaster hit her nose, mixed with something metallic. The ward looked untouched. Beds lined the walls, neatly made, curtains drawn as if waiting for patients that never came. On the floor, old charts were scattered, their ink smudged with water stains. And then, she saw her. A woman sat on one of the beds. Her hair hung long and black, covering most of her face. She wore a pale hospital gown, stained and torn at the hem. Her head tilted at an unnatural angle, as if her neck couldn't quite hold it upright. In her lap, a small silver bell. She looked up. Her lips curved into a smile that was too wide, too knowing. Her voice was a whisper, but Nadia heard it clearly. Finally, a new doctor. Nadia stumbled back, her phone slipping from her hands. The screen cracked as it hit the floor, the light rolling across the ward. When she grabbed it again, the woman was gone. The bed was empty. The whole ward looked abandoned. She spun around, and froze. She wasn't in Ward C anymore. She was in the ICU. A patient lay motionless, the monitor flatlining. Nadia rushed forward, trying CPR, her hands trembling. Come on, come on. But as she pressed down on the patient's chest, she felt it. A handprint, black, burnt into the skin, like something had pressed from the inside. The monitor flickered. Letters crawled across the screen. Let me in. Her blood turned to ice. She staggered back, heart hammering. She sprinted to the nurse's station, desperate to call for help. The phones were dead, but the CCTV monitors glowed. Every screen was black, except one. Ward C. Her stomach dropped. On the screen, she saw herself, standing in the corridor, not moving, not breathing, just staring at the camera and smiling. Nadia whipped her head around. No one was there. Yet the version of herself on the screen slowly raised her hand, holding the silver bell. The bell rang once, then twice. Then the screen went dark. At that moment, she blacked out. When she woke, the sun was streaming through the windows. Dr. Ellis was shaking her awake. You all right? You've been sitting here all night, he said softly. Her throat burned. She couldn't speak. Her voice was gone. With trembling hands, she grabbed a pen and wrote one word on the chart beside her. Bell. Ellis's face drained of color. He looked at her like she'd just signed her own death sentence. In a low, shaking voice, he whispered, So, she chose you. Nadia never made it to graduation. 2 nights later, she left her flat in the early hours. Neighbors said she looked pale, empty, clutching something small in her hand. They never saw her again. Police found her shoes by the Avon River, but no body, no note. The only clue was a silver bell, left neatly on the riverbank. Today, security guards still refuse to patrol Ward C after dark. They say the bell still rings, sometimes once, sometimes twice, and sometimes, if you're unlucky, it doesn't stop.